show before the show shit. Drinks. Go show before the show. An Irish coffee with not Irish whiskey, but it was good. We used a Wild Turkey Long Branch, courtesy of Chris Treese. Thanks, buddy. I want to say it's Connor's Irish Cream. They did not have Bailey's, so we got some knockoff and Stoke cold brew. So it is, a cold Irish coffee, which I prefer. But and then I put a little chocolate bitters and simple syrup in it, and it's damn good. It's good. To be honest with you. Nathan's complaint is it could be more coffee flavored.
Yep.
I'm a cream in my coffee guy anyway, so I'm a little bit indifferent about that.
I mean, it's not that it's bad. It's just I wish there was I wish coffee was a little more vibrant, I guess. Just a little more.
We're gonna add our own cream next time so you can make it what you want to.
Yeah. I still think it's good.
It was 50-50 coffee and whiskey, so I told you you'd have to drink 2 to get a full serving of coffee.
Yeah.
I wanted more whiskey. That was better. I mean, I need the caffeine a little bit too today, but it was better for my mental health for it to be mostly whiskey.
Yeah. So, I guess show before the show, if you want to talk about it, you had a interesting week with the dog.
Yeah. She's 16 years old with dementia. I think most people know that. I love her dearly. She's an awesome dog. And a little backstory is even when she was younger, she had a tendency to be a little dramatic over an injury. Like Zeus jumped on her one time over some food or something and just nipped her in the armpit, like literally like where our pec would connect like to our armpit.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much where she got bit by Zeus. It was a pinch. It punctured, bled a little bit, but it was like, this is a dog. Like dogs do worse things to themselves all the time. Like, and she has done worse things to herself. Like, this is a dog that's not afraid to fight other dogs. Like, she used to fight coyotes and shit and get her ears all scraped up. Like, it never was dramatic about that. But if something like in the house happens to her, she's always been like, milk it for everything it's worth. But because of her recent medical condition and having dementia and whatnot, she kind of took a turn for the worse this week and wasn't getting out of bed, having a hard time walking. She is on trazodone and Prozac to help with the dementia. And like the sundowner's anxiety that comes with it and whatnot. So they do make her a little drunk. Like she, so she doesn't have difficulty walking, but she can kind of like stumble and stagger and stuff like that. Right. So we gave her a normal dose of meds and, she gets up and she's like fucking can't get her back legs under her, can't fucking walk. Nursing the front paw, like, and we're like, and there was no like, there was no like acute moment where like we said, oh shit, she's hurt herself or anything like that. Like we noticed she was, picking that front paw up some, but her back legs like wasn't. I sent you the video.
Yeah.
Like, extremely wobbly. So I thought she was dying. So Thursday, I think I told you Thursday, is like, I don't know if she's going to make it through the night, but if she does, Sandy's going to take her to the vet on Friday. Sandy takes her to the vet. She does have a shoulder sprain, and it's like basically drained off and caused her ankle to swell. Like there's fluid in it, but the swelling of the ankle is everything. It has everything to do with the shoulder. Like it's just gravity has taken place. And it's just, gone downhill. So she's having a little trouble walking. She is in pain, but the vet was pretty much like, nah, she's playing y'all. She's gonna be fine in like 2 or 3 days. She's just like literally doing this for attention. And she's physically perfectly healthy, other than she's got like a mild sprain, like no tumors, no breaks, nothing like that. She's just like her shoulder's a little bit uncomfortable.
I almost got conned out of a steak.
So yeah, you almost got all the way. You were like going to buy her a steak because we thought it was going to be her last weekend with us and all this other shit. And, come to find out, she's just being dramatic. Now, I will say the real dangers involved right now is that she doesn't want to get up on her own, so she's not eating and drinking like she should. So, like, dehydration and weight loss is a potential threat through the weekend. But, yeah, other than that, she pretty much was just being a fucking ham. Doing it for attention.
Yeah.
And I kind of figured out that was exactly the case. I was trying to get her to get up to go use the restroom in the middle of the night because she was whining and woke us up. Having a baby at the house, like dog whining, like don't want the baby to wake up, so you got to get up and do something about it.
Yep.
And I was like, she was yelp every time I went to pick her up, so I was like, I'm going to roll her out of her bed. I'm basically going to snatch her bed out from under her gently and like rolled her up to her feet with it. She stood up fine, walked to the door, went outside. I'm like, fucking little bitch. It's like she milked it and hobbled to the door and shit. But I'm like, there's nothing wrong.
Right.
I mean, like she's injured, and I hate it. I'm a really good dog owner, so like I feel really bad that she's hurting, but at
the same time,
she had us legitimately convinced that she was dying.
Yeah.
Like she looked pretty worse for wear, and the vet was like, "Nah, she's an
Oscar level
nominee this year." Legit thought she was dying. So
there was only one time where my dog has made me concerned. Like, you know, she basically never gets hurt, like never acts like she's hurt, almost ever. There was one time we were outside, I was throwing the ball playing fetch, and she just stopped and just rolled on her side, and I was like, what the heck? Did she just get like really tired or something? So I like kind of stared at her and waited, and she didn't get up, and I walked over to her and I was kind of like poking at her, like kind of pulling on her paws and seeing if she would yelp at anything. She didn't yelp at anything. I think she just got really tired because she was playing too hard. And then she got up. She would kind of limp a little bit, and then that was it.
So it's like the problem with Bella is like she's like polar opposite of Zeus. Like she's gonna ham it up. Zeus was in pain every day of his life. You know, most of his life, and so I guess he was used to the pain. He had bad arthritis. I mean, to the point when we first got him, we had to put him on a diet to lose weight because his arthritis was so bad. He would lay in bed and cry because he couldn't move.
Right.
But, you know, other than those really, really bad days, Zeus could barely get up and down the stairs, stuff like that. And it never stopped him, never slowed him down, didn't care, like always had a good time, and like was visibly in pain all the time. But he was like, fuck it, dude, I'm here. Like,
might as well make the best of it.
He always had a great attitude about it. So like Bella, just like the slightest thing wrong with her, and she's like selling it like she's fucking dying.
Well, she's
like,
a princess.
She is absolutely a princess, and I love her. Best dog I've ever had. She's definitely a daddy's girl for sure. But 100%, and I was pretty sick about the fact that I might have to put this dog down. And
I could tell. I didn't even have to talk to you in person to know. Like, I could tell just by text message. That's why I didn't bother you that much that day. I was like, he's going through it. I don't want to like be impacting him with anything.
Fucking legit thought she was dying. And I know that day's coming sooner than later, but I thought this was the end. And nope, she's just
hamming it up.
Just hamming it up, man. Just making sure she gets all the belly rubs and attention and stuff like that. And, you know, there's a new baby in the house, but the baby is old enough now that she's giving her a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So, like, Bella loves kids, so she loves the attention from the baby. Like, she's one of those things, when they start getting older, like, it's easy to not want to spend time with your dog, but just make sure, like, Bella's at the age, like, I don't even have to take her walking anymore. Like, just sitting down on the couch beside her and petting her is, like, enough to keep her happy. So just, you know, don't take it for granted. Make sure you're spending time with your pups, because, you know, they're family too.
Yeah. And their time with us is much shorter than
and much more loyal than
people.
yeah. By and large, you know, I think, you know, we have some good, you know, between me and you, and then a couple of our other friends, we have some really good friendships that are, you know, likely going to be lifelong. Knock on wood. But you and Elizabeth, you know, come to mind first always. But Austin, Justin, you know, people like that in my life, definitely, you know, they ain't going anywhere. But for the most part, though,
people can be fleeting.
People are, you know, they come and go. But dog, you know, once you have a dog and you're good to them, you know, they're kind of there. They're there until they're not. You know, they're there until they can't be. You know what I mean? So,
or you're the crappy person who dumps them somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, even bad dog owners have dogs that love them. So that should tell you something about dogs.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So there was an old joke about lock your girlfriend in the trunk of your car for 3 days and lock your dog in the trunk of your car for 3 days and open it and see which one's happy to see you.
Yep. Meet the dog.
Don't do that. That's terrible. That's bad treatment of both parties.
Yes.
But that's a joke that's been made to me before, and it's like that just speaks to the loyalty of dogs. So, like, you're probably not going to have a girlfriend after that situation, but you still have a dog. You know what I mean? Like, when that's, you know, like I said, it's terrible that bad dog owners still have dogs that love them, but like I said, it just speaks to how great dogs are. Yep. We really don't deserve them.
Yeah, dogs are the best. I know there's a lot of cat people out there, and cats are okay, but dogs will always be number one for me.
This is an announcement right here. I will physically fist fight you if you think a cat is smarter than a dog.
Smarter, yeah, definitely not.
Definitely.
Now, I will say there are some cats that are smarter than some dogs, but on a broad spectrum, like the average level of intelligence, dogs
cats will absolutely do some stupid fucking shit. Like just,
I think
you fucking know better.
I think they are smart and they are spiteful though. Like they do stuff intentionally to make you mad.
They can, but I mean, think about like a cat will piss and shit anywhere. Like dogs don't even want to do it in their own yard. They go to neighbors' yards half the time. If you don't have a fenced-in yard, you know what I mean? Or they go to the edge of it. Like they don't want to be around a mess. Like cats are just like, scoop it, bitch.
Yeah,
not my fucking problem. Like I don't know. Like dogs are more intelligent.
I have never owned a cat in this house by myself, and I won't.
I think that they're great. I think they're great pets. I think they're great outside animals. I will never have one indoors again.
Yeah.
I would probably be okay with an indoor-outdoor, but I will never have a cat that is reliant on a litter box again, for sure. Like
it's gross. Especially having a baby around.
Yeah, don't want that around. Like it just is what
it's just not worth it.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, not to mention like having babies around too. If a dog's loyal to the kid, it's not going to fucking bite the kid or anything like that. Like, if it does, it's going to be like a snip when they're playing. Yep. Like, that's like, honestly,
hey, you played too hard.
It's going to make me sound like a bad parent, but like, honestly, that's probably a good lesson learned for a kid. A cat would just be like, it'll be perfectly good mood and just be like, fuck you and swat you. Like, I don't want that around my kid. You know what I mean?
Some
like,
cats do have a high tolerance. I've seen videos of cats with a very high tolerance for kids, but like it just depends on the cat.
They're way more. People make excuses. Cats are so violent and people make so many excuses for them.
It's true.
Like if a dog did half the things that even a good cat does, like, you know, they'd be in the news and fucking shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. But dogs are just, I don't know. Especially if you see Bella with kids, like, and she's a pit bull. Oh
I know,
God.
a dangerous pit bull. That's the
dangerous pit bull fucking around your kids. And my 5-month-old's pulling her ears and fucking patting her on the head. And she's just like
whatever.
She don't even get up and move. You know what I mean? She just loves it. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, like, it seems like the smaller dogs, because I've noticed that with our dogs, like Dory, she's a pit mix. Doesn't care. You can let the baby slap her on the nose. She don't care. She's just gonna let it happen. But if either the other dogs start getting annoyed at her, they start growling and like jump away, run off or whatever. They're like, don't. I don't want to be around it.
You know, that was the first an American Pit Bull Terrier, which is really a Staffordshire Terrier, but an American Pit Bull Terrier was the first dog in the White House, and they're called the nanny dog for a reason. Like they love kids, so as long as they've been raised right and whatnot. And part of it's that kids are high energy, and you know, Bella's not anymore, but pit bulls are high energy, and like they work well with one another.
Right.
I feel like, but you know, there's definitely, you know, because I've been bitten by a pit bull that wasn't raised by me, that I was fostering. There's definitely dogs I wouldn't let my kid around, but Bella that I've had forever, like know what she's gonna act like around the kid, stuff like that. Like I trust her before I trust most people. I really do.
Right.
So especially with my kid.
Yeah. Show before the show, all dog talk.
All dog talk, but
and a little shitting on cats.
A little bit of shitting on cats. I mean, I really do like them. Big cats are one of my favorite things ever.
Like fat cats, like
no, well, yeah, but that too. But I'm talking when I say big cats, I mean like lions, tigers.
Okay, yeah.
You know, cougars.
They're cool.
You know.
Cougars.
You know, any type of wild cat is pretty cool. You know what I mean? Me and Sandy are both 35 now, so I mean, I guess you can say. But
the thing about cougars, they go after young.
Well,
right?
That's probably doesn't apply to her.
Yeah. Unless there's something you don't know about, I guess.
I just about promise you, I don't think I'll be honest with you, I don't think Sandy has the patience for a younger man.
Probably not. I don't think a lot of people
Sandy
have the
doesn't have me trained yet, let alone one that's brand new. Like, if ever I have any like self-esteem issues and get to feel some kind of way about that, I was like, she barely has patience for me, let alone two of me.
Yeah, for real.
There's no way. You know what I mean?
It's funny when you look at like, especially like just in general, when you've been in a relationship with somebody for a while, it's just kind of like you can kind of tell.
Yeah, imagine. Think about how annoyed Desi is about everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Does she want a completely different set of secret problems?
We were
probably not. You know
it's funny that I probably shouldn't say this. There's a guy at work we know, like visibly we can see he's hanging out with this girl at work. Yeah. He's got a wife and a kid at home. Yeah. And they're like, you know, and we're just like, I wouldn't have the energy or the capacity to even try and juggle two people. Like that's too much. I got too much going on. Like that's to add in another, like
at the very, very worst, I'm too lazy.
Right? It's just like it is not
morally at my worst. Like,
right.
I'm too lazy.
Like even if it was like simple and easy, like the moral side of it's like no, but like it's like how this guy, I'm like, I don't know how you have the capacity or the energy to be bouncing around like with your wife and your work girlfriend. Not me, man.
It just is what it is.
I don't got enough time at work to be doing that shit.
We got a great home life too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is.
We got pretty happy.
Me and Sandy communicate. We're a really good team. Communicate really well. Yeah. Do everything pretty well. So
communication is key, boys and girls.
Yep.
Youngins.
Yep. Say communication is lubrication too, so just
they say motion is lotion, right?
they say a lot of things.
They say a lot of things.
That's the show before the show, and both of us need a refill. So let's break for refills real quick.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sip It Rip It podcast. I'm Zach. He's Nathan. You can follow us at Coleman_Barbell, at Nathan Skedios, at Sip It and Rip It. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, rate us 5 stars, leave comments, all that good shit. I need to get back in the habit of posting it up on Facebook because the one time I did it, it seemed like it was pretty well received. Mm-hmm. I have not done that, but we do not have a Facebook page, but you can follow us personally at Zach Gordon or Nathan Spacero on that.
You can't follow me on Facebook.
Can't.
I am private.
Oh, well, never mind.
My Facebook is private.
Don't
find me. You can find me on Instagram. Perfectly fine with that. You cannot find me on Facebook. That is my private zone.
That's okay. I'll repost all this shit.
They won't be able to see it unless they're friends.
But anyway, yeah, all that good shit. So,
you know, I had a really random thought.
Go ahead. Give us the random thought before we get into the meat and potatoes of this.
The Mark Bell podcast.
Okay. The gold standard of powerlifting podcast.
Right. It's not necessarily anymore because they really don't talk about powerlifting a lot. But their whole thing, like, and I was just thinking about that. I don't know why. They're like, I'm trying to articulate this in a way that makes sense. When they talk and like their let's call it their pregame, you know, we get alcohol. Right. We're kind of like the exact opposite of the Mark Bell podcast because they're like, let's drink this thing that make like my mind boosting juice and what's it called? You know,
nootropics.
It is a nootropic. What is that? What is that one that's really popular right now?
Lion's Mane?
No. It's
Is it a specific name of a product and not just ingredients?
Mind Bullet.
Oh, I haven't had Mind Bullet. I don't even think I know about Mind Bullet.
I can't remember what type of nootropic it is, but it is a nootropic. It's Mind Bullet. And they're like, they take that. They have their once a week caffeine. Like they have this like really...
So responsible.
Like very...
We're taking our caffeine and alcohol at the same goddamn time tonight.
They don't even... Most of them don't even drink anymore, like on the podcast. And it's like... I mean, no... I mean, it's respect.
It's plenty of respect, but like...
But...
This is obviously the opposite here.
Right. It's like we are
called Sip It and Rip It.
We are the polar opposites of we're going to be really strict and professional and like have all this. And we're just like.
Zach's just going to say fuck a lot and drink some whiskey.
We're like, cheers. Really random thought. I don't even know why I thought about it. I haven't actually listened to the Mark Bell podcast in a while because I have not had an episode that was that interesting to me.
Hey, it is what it is. I mean,
sometimes that happens. Like for a long time, that was the only podcast I listened to, and they had a bunch of great stuff.
I would say this probably is the gold standard of fitness podcasts. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
that's why I follow Andrew Z, and I commented on one of his.
Dave Tate's probably the Elite FTS podcast. Is probably the gold standard of powerlifting podcasts. I'd imagine.
Probably. I actually don't listen to Elite FTS.
I mean, it is still. I mean, that was my introduction to Joe back in the day because he was on that podcast.
Okay.
He used to work for Dave Tate, right?
Yeah.
So that was my introduction to Joe. But I mean, it's still very much I mean, it's a conjugate podcast.
Yeah.
Like, it's 100% in defense of conjugate all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I mean, it's still, I mean, that guy, I mean, how can you fuck with a 55-year-old that still, has a 1,800-pound total? I mean,
impressive.
you know what I mean? Like, the dude knows something.
Right. Obviously.
Whether you want to admit to it or not. The conjugate prejudice, I'm kind of over now to some extent. Like,
I mean,
it's easy to pick on, but like, if it didn't work,
it would have died.
It would have died. Yeah. So, just is what it is. But, do we do Jim first or do PR songs first? I'll forget.
We talk about the drink. PR song. We can do PR songs. I think I have a PR song that
Bro, I've already sent this to you.
I know. I already know what it is because you talked about it before the podcast started. As soon as you sent it to me, I was like, this is going to be his PR song of the week.
Knock Loose. Don't Reach for Me. And I just got it. Dude, the chorus of this song. Hold on a second. Let me bring up the fucking lyrics. I guess I'm just becoming a nut for lyrics and heavy music. The chorus is in, when your arms are too weak to pull yourself back up, when your arms are too weak to reach for God, don't reach for me. Fucking awesome.
That's
awesome.
metal.
That's fucking badass.
That's pretty
It's
metal.
the biggest fuck you song I've ever heard. And I'll be honest with you, I have been in a mood the past couple days where I feel like I fucking needed that song. Friends, stuff like that come and go. We kind of talked about that with the dog in the pre-show. Some folks I'm just fucking over. So fuck them. It is what it is. I mean, you do what you can. And that pretty much is what that song's about. So that's fucking awesome.
Oh, there we go. I don't know if we have put them on the PR song.
I haven't put shit on the playlist in a while. I need to get back to updating the playlist.
I just mean like even on the podcast, but The Cathedral by Black Tongue.
Okay, yeah, Black Tongue's awesome. They've been on. I had a Second Death rant.
Second Death, yeah.
Like, any song named Second Death and it's a metal song probably rips.
Yeah, Second Death is really good.
It's
too.
a really fucking good song.
That whole album is really good, to be honest with you. But I really like The Cathedral. It's that one. It's like the line, their pathetic shells will crack under the weight of agony. I'm just like, fuck yeah. Just like,
I'm about it. I like Black Tongue. My next one's weird. But there's a metal band that does a bunch of pop covers. And this is a cover of a Kendrick Lamar song called Humble. Everybody in the fucking world's heard Humble before.
Don't think
Humble's
I have.
a really good rap song. I'm a Kendrick Lamar apologist. Like, I fucking like Kendrick Lamar a lot.
That's fair.
But anyway, a band called Our Last Night covers Kendrick Lamar's Humble, and it's like a metalcore version of Humble, and it fucking rips. So listen to it.
Have you heard the what's his name? He does the How to Slipknot. What's that guy's name?
Oh, you're talking about Nick Nocturnal?
Have you heard his cover of Unholy?
Yeah, I have.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool.
Like
that's a darkish song anyway.
It is. And like lyrically it is dark, but when he covered it, I was like, this makes it cool. Like, I can dig this.
Yeah, he does a lot of cool shit like that though. I think the How to Slipknot in 30 Seconds really broke my life. I don't think he's ever going to be able to listen to Slipknot the same.
But I mean, he was spot on.
He was spot on.
It was really funny.
And then, I mean, I love, I've put it on the PR. I have put it on the PR song before, but the fucking Lamb of God, How to Lamb of God in 30 Seconds, that full length song. And he does it with the Brand of Sacrifice singer. I mean, it was so good that Mark Morton of Lamb of God was like, yep, that sounds like us. I mean, when the guy that writes all the shit's like, yeah, we would have done that. Yeah. Like, that's pretty
hit the nail on
good.
The head, bud.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking good.
I'll go with a very off the wall one here. Well, not really off the wall for me. I actually really enjoy a lot of the WWE music that comes out. But The Game by Motorhead.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's what I listen to when I hit that 585 for 5 on deadlift, and I was just like, I could do more. I could keep going. I was like in the zone.
Motorhead fucking rips, dude.
Rest in peace.
You know what? I feel
Lemmy.
like we should start a not PR songs list of songs that we thought were gonna rip and they fucking suck. Because I downloaded. There's been songs. I think I've even put them on the playlist before, and they are lighter, but they've traditionally been metalcore. But apparently they're a fucking pop band now. I've put Wage War on the playlist before. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Their new single, Magnetic, is the biggest bunch of fucking Taylor Swift worshiping fucking dog shit I've ever heard before in my life. Y'all fucking suck. Get with it and do something fucking better than that trash. It sucks.
That's pretty sad.
That's a not PR song for y'all.
It's a not.
If you want to hit something heavy, don't fucking listen to Wage War.
If you want to go like do a light stroll on some cardio,
I have a metal PR song hot take. I will forever shit on these three bands. And I cannot, for whatever reason, I use Spotify. I'm one of those strange people that use Spotify and Apple Music. Hate me if you want to, but I use them both. On Apple Music, though, when your curated playlist ends, it plays things, suggested stuff, right? It will not quit suggesting Fit for an Autopsy, Gideon, and Under Oath. There is no fucking reason for a man whose balls hang low to listen to any three of those fucking bands. Those bands can fucking suck butt, dude. Like, I know Gideon's an Alabama band, and everybody in the fucking world will fucking make all the excuses for fucking Gideon. Gideon blows, dude.
I've
Gideon
never listened to them.
It's because they suck. That's but for whatever reason, my fucking playlist thinks I want to listen to Under Oath, Gideon, and fucking Fit for an Autopsy.
I don't mind Fit for an Autopsy, though.
Fit for an Autopsy has moments, but my phone is so obsessed with getting me to listen to them that I'm just like, now. I don't have near the hot take on them that I do on Gideon, but I'm like, no, just out of stubbornness. I'm like, no, I don't want to listen to this fucking band. Don't want to listen to them. Fuck off. Under Oath, they were cool when I was 12. Like now,
aren't they like anti-Christian now and like super heavy? I
don't think they're anti-Christian. You know, Spencer Chamberlain got in trouble for fucking being a fucking coke addict and being a hypocrite. Like, not quite as bad as Tim Lambesis, but at least Tim Lambesis was pretty fucking metal.
He was pretty metal.
I mean, at least he fucking like stayed within his fucking lane. You know what I mean? But you know, basically come out that he's a coke snorting bitch. Like you couldn't tell,
right?
And I think their career took a hit because like they're supposed to be a Christian band and like that kind of shit. Now they keep putting out super irrelevant music that sucks. And like,
I haven't listened to it. I think it's because I'm a big Norma Jean fan, so I think it's because I have a lot of Norma Jean on my playlist. Probably. They're like, you're gonna like this, and I'm like, no, it's not the same.
I listen to a lot of Norma Jean and a lot of He Is Legend, and for whatever reason, we get lumped into. Oh, you like those bands, so you're gonna like Under Oath. No, those bands fucking rip. Like Under Oath sucks butt.
Fair.
Sorry. I think there's probably a lot of Under Oath apologists in the state of Alabama too, because the original singer was from Birmingham.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the Maylene and the Sons of Disaster singer. If you didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Fucking music nerddom. Like fucking.
If you want a better local Alabama band, go listen to old Misery Chastain. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I mean, they were real death metal, deathcore, though. Yeah. Like, at least at the time when everybody else was playing fucking...
They were metalcore. They were metalcore. They might try to tell you they weren't,
probably
but they were.
A little bit more. I'll tell you one thing. They were a lot more metal than the deathcore bands, metalcore bands, and like fucking post-hardcore bands we were playing with at the time.
That's fair.
They were playing a lot more technical music, a lot faster music than the rest of us.
No, the music that they played was very good.
Yeah.
Like, my cousin Wes is a very talented guitar player. I wish he would actually do something with it, but he likes to band hop because he gets bored. Sorry, Wes, it's true. Band hopper. It's what he does. Like that, or he gets kicked out because he doesn't show up to practice, and he keeps wanting to change every song every 2 minutes. Sorry, Wes. I'm shitting on you.
He's incredibly talented.
Dude. He is a very talented dude.
I don't have any negative things to say about Wes other than he's a goddamn communist.
I mean, he went to Seattle for a reason.
He doesn't understand economics. That's the worst thing about the guy. It is what it is. Outside of that, really, honestly, good as gold. Super, super fucking talented. I don't know if he listens or not, but I doubt he does. An amazing person. So, to you, Wes.
To Wes. Gym this week kind of went on a long string of tangents here.
Yeah, gym this week was a catch-all week for me. I ended my 5x5 reign. I just feel like I'm getting a little bit boring on presses, but I also just feel like because of what we're going to talk about, feel like I'm to the point I can progress into a real power block.
Yeah.
Now, so which is a great thing. I'm not mad about that at all. I will say I think my focus strength-wise is going to remain bench press and deadlifts. I think I'm really going to push those, and I think I'm just going to squat what's comfortable for a long time. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like we're in a very similar boat on that.
Yeah, I mean, your knees and my hips, I do feel like I've recovered. I have not feel like my mind has recovered.
Yeah.
If that
There's
makes
still
sense,
some fear back there. Yeah. That's going to linger for a while because that's 2 injuries in a row.
I'll just tell you, I mean, I took a single this week. I could have easily, my gym partner told me, and it's somebody I trust because, I mean, this is somebody that used to be like a semi-pro strongman and squats 800 pounds. Like, he's very fucking good. He told me, he was like, you could squat 100 more pounds today. And I'm like, my body might be able to do it, but
I'm not.
But my mind is not going to do it. Yeah, my mind's not going to do that. So it just is what it is. Right now, I guess I'm just going to keep pressing heavier than I squat. It just is what it is. So
it's the way it is sometimes. I mean, that's how I feel right now. I mean, I only squatted 325 for 10. And I can press that. Like, I mean,
yeah, I mean, I can too. Yeah, and I don't remember the last time I squatted. And actually, probably when you were doing my program, and I think we had like furthest we went like 335 for 8.
Yeah, it was probably something like that. I probably started
which was okay. I remember doing it, but I actually think that's the day I went to the hospital for the SVT. So it, basically gave me a fucking heart attack. Dehydration did that. Actually.
Sorry.
It had nothing to do with the squat. When my mind's right, I can do good, but I'm basically just taking the time to get my mind right. I'm going to do everything pause because that bottom position seems to be what stresses me out. So if I just fucking hang in that bottom position as long as I can, eventually I'm going to be like, fuck it, this ain't that bad anymore.
Yeah, there's you're gonna build some confidence and also just the.
If it tells you anything, I can pause squat my current training max.
Yeah.
Like, that's how nervous I am about it. That like, I can pause squat for like 5 seconds, hold it in the bottom with my current training max. So like, I just have some, nerves about it, I suppose, but.
That's just kind of the way things go sometimes, especially coming back from injury. For me, it's just pain, constant pain all the time until finally towards the end it goes away. I'm going to try and get some advice from doctors and see if I can get some arthritis medicine or some sort of relief there. But
I say you go back to BPC and TV.
It may be what I do,
which is largely what we're about to talk about today. Yeah. Not everything, but.
That may be a route that I go. I'm going to give it another couple weeks. I also am trying to determine whether it's, I'm on a cut. Everything kind of sucks right now anyway. I don't know if it's
hard to be strong
some of that.
Cut.
Yeah. I don't know if that would be causing a reason why things would be hurting joints wise. I feel like it should feel better because I'm lighter, but I don't know if there's some sort of weird inflammation going on, and I don't know. But I'm kind of just like I want to go talk to Dr. Campbell, see if he's got anything he can advise me on, and then do that and see what he says and go from there. What's up?
Was that me or you?
Probably me.
Got phones vibrating at weird times. Sorry, y'all.
But yeah, so. Just kind of get my knees right. I didn't really do anything impressive this week. I tried to pulled 585 for a pretty good single, I think. And then I was going to do like 625 for a couple singles, and I couldn't break it off the floor. I was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm not doing this then.
This is purely speculative, and there's no science behind this, y'all, for the record. But do you feel like pulling on a deadlift bar all the time has made you lazy?
No, I don't think so.
I feel like it's made me lazy.
I feel
it's
like
so much easier to get good slack pull on a
it is
bar. And I'm not like my problem. I feel one of my problems right now is on deadlift. First of all, I'm not doing anything like super maximal like at all. But I feel like I am because the slack's almost so easy to pull on a deadlift bar that I feel like I'm not working very hard for it. And then, if you're not getting good slack pull, then theoretically your position is not as great as it could be. And therefore your deadlift is probably not as good as it could be.
Right.
So I feel like I've actually moved clients back to a power bar, even though they're about to pull on a deadlift bar, because I just feel like, I feel like it's made me lazy, and I feel like I see that in clients some too. Yeah. Because I mean, you can just about fuck up and pull a deadlift bar to your fucking knee without too much even focus on slack pull.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, if that's something people are struggling with as far as like slack pull goes, or if you see that it's like they're not putting effort in, then that
you're gonna have to work for visible slack pull in a power bar. Like,
as far as my thing goes, I think that for me it was I couldn't really explain why, and I think I told you the day of, it was just kind of like this weird mental disconnect that happened as soon as I pulled the slack and went to push with my feet. It was just like, no, I'm not doing it. It was just like instant like turn off. No, I couldn't tell you why. I went back to try it again. It didn't happen. I don't know if it was that, if it's the lack of carbs, like 585 moves so fast that I was just kind of like, this is going to be no problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think me and Chris watched you pull that, and I think that, I don't think anybody in the building that night thought that you making a 40-pound jump was insane.
Yeah.
Anything. Like, hell, I would have been comfortable. If I were coaching you, I would have been plenty comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I have a hunch and say you better just pull 605. But that's worst case scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but when I watched it back, the way it felt, I was just like, yeah, this is normal. This is like, everything's going to go fine. It's going to be a little challenging, but it's not going to be anything crazy. But for whatever reason, I just couldn't pull it that day. So I just called it there, and I was like, you know what, it's fine. Like, I'm not going to get hung up about it. Like, I was a little irritated in the moment, especially because I think everyone probably thought I was super mad. My belt was getting kind of stuck, and I was trying to take it off. And when I finally got it off, it kind of like pulled off really aggressively, and I dropped it. So I think people thought I was mad and like was yeeting my belt, but I wasn't mad. I was just kind of like, God, this belt won't come off.
I got to see Joey yeet his Atlanta Braves hat this week.
Oh boy.
Because a deadlift didn't go as fast as he wanted it to. And it ended up just being, he literally texted me in the middle of this. I was like, just get your head out of your ass. Literally is why I texted him, was like, this is
right.
He was pulling for a single, what honestly, like, it would have been maximum effort, but like what I would expect somebody that pulls as much as him to be able to do for 10.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I was like, just fucking,
right.
Just go fucking do it right. Like, just deal with it. You know what I mean? But yeah, he yeeted his hat this week. And that's always kind of a funny coaching moment. But he's very much in the off season, and it doesn't matter. So there's like, I told him, there's no reason to be upset about it. Like, shit happens. Just fucking do better.
Sometimes your weight fluctuates, your carbs fluctuate, your energy fluctuates, your mindset changes, intensity changes. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that can go wrong or differently, and you just gotta take it for what it is in the moment.
Yeah, this is somebody too that walks around in the 280s most of the time and would cut to 275 to his weight class, and I don't really like that. So we have cut him all the way down to 259, and he is on his way back to 275 now. So we're hopefully approaching 275 with more muscle mass this time has been the goal. So like, he's been in a deficit for a long time. Like,
it's no surprise. It's the same really thing for me. Like,
you shouldn't be surprised that you missed, even at that weight, like, we've been going double overhanded and beltless and from a deficit and everything like that. Like, you haven't pulled a heavy conventional single in a while. Like, big fucking deal.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah. Like,
I think I've been on a cut for at least 3 months now, which is longer than I anticipated, because I did want to hit a certain weight marker. But now at this point, I'm just going to get to the end of April on my cut, and then whatever weight I end up at is whatever weight I end up at.
It will just, you'll have to just accommodate for that for your calories and your bulk.
Yep.
Like, it'd be a slower bulk or a faster bulk depending on where you land. And
yep.
That just is what it is. So.
Yeah. So I'm not super concerned with it. Like seeing the peak of my strength in an off season, I'm not concerned at all with where I'm at the cut or anything like that, because I know what I'm capable of at the current point. And that's not even considering a performance enhancing dose. So like, I have no worries at all. I'm gonna get this last block of off season, or well, not off season, but last block of my self programming, and then shift everything over to you, and I'll just go in and do what athletes do.
Just execute.
Yep.
Just out of curiosity, have you done a performance enhancing dose since you've been on TRT?
Not one.
I don't know that there's enough discernible difference to make it worth it.
Really?
No, I just doubled my test. I didn't do an oral or anything like that. But like,
see, I'll probably double my test and do an oral. That's probably the most that I'm going to do.
Like, so, keep, grain of salt for sure. But
we'll find out if I mean,
but to be fair, I was, with the exception of not really being able to squat very heavy, I was enormously fucking strong for me. This last block. So maybe it was more than I thought it was, but just the consistency of not having to come off because I'm on TRT is just like
great. Feels good.
Feels good. Yeah, it feels good to feel good all the time and not have that fucking 3-month lull of
just like,
I want to fucking kill myself. This sucks. I can't wait to be back on.
Right.
Like, shit like that. So
start like itching for a needle. That sounds like an addict, but for real, it's more or less just like the fact of
it's the mental ramifications more than it is the physical.
Yeah, it's not necessarily it's like, oh, I'm weaker. It's just like, God, I just.
Well, here's the deal too. I didn't see that fucking. I cut my dose back in half, went back to a TRT dose, and didn't see that fucking plummet fucking drop off where like, oh, I'm pressing 405 for reps, and now I'm barely locking out a 335 single. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see that, so that's kind of fucking cool too. Even in a cut, I haven't seen that.
Right.
So, I don't know. That's TBD, I guess.
Yep.
How much a performance enhancing dose is really going to do for us. And I'll speculate and I don't know that I would do this because I think I'm just over it. I speculate that had I been on trend or something like that, it
might
probably
would have seen a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't want to take if I was going to take trend, I would only want to take it for the last 2 weeks. Like, I wouldn't want to take it through training or anything like that. I'd want it literally just to be in my system.
And then you're probably going to want like Trend Ace or something.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Yeah,
something that. But then you're gonna have to pin it like at least 4 times a week, something like that. I can't remember how many.
Some people say Trend Ace is a daily pin. I don't remember the length of the ester on that, but I'm not pinning anything daily.
I won't either.
I wish that my TRT drug was Test E, so I had a 21-day ester. To be honest with you. But I pin once a week so I'm still within the half life of Test C, but they're not going to give you the good shit. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
But I just feel like everything's so much more balanced and like well maintained. I am physically healthier, so like everything just clicks in a way that it didn't when I was doing performance enhancing doses all the time.
Yeah.
And honestly, the fucking prescribed estrogen blocker is way fucking better than anything else we would take. Like that anastrozole, in my opinion, is way better than other things we've taken.
Clomid,
tamoxifen, fucking Arimidex, all that shit that we've taken before. Like, I feel like the anastrozole is way fucking better. Like, no sides, like, not moody, nothing like ever. Like, so, I don't know.
Yep.
Something to be said about that. I mean, just being responsible.
Right. Who would have thought being responsible is better for your health and better for your strength overall?
I like the lack of dip. The lack of dip is the reason why TRT dose is better than heavy use and coming off and heavy use and coming off. It's the consistency that matters. Like, that's much fucking better.
That's what we talk about in the gym all the time. Consistency.
Why wouldn't it matter in drugs? We talk about it in food. We talk about it in sleep. Exercise, like everything that you do, like, why wouldn't it matter in that? So, which brings us to our next thing. You were talking about that deadlift. I have to know because we're talking about peptides and injectable vitamins today. Did you have your nectar that day?
I did.
Did you still feel like you had a mental block on that?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about the deadlift. I thought you were talking about. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about my 585 for 5. I don't know why I thought you were talking about
the 585 single, and then when you were planning on going to 625.
So no, I did not take it that day. And just because we're talking about it, and so I can give like a visual example. If people go to my Instagram page, this is not me plugging my Instagram page. If you go to my Instagram page and you look and you scroll down, you see my 585 for 5. I think it's like right before that or 2 videos before that. It's a 535 single, 6 singles with like 90 seconds or 60 seconds rest. You can visibly see a difference in how fast and how intense I move between those 2 sets.
Yeah.
The 535, I did not take nectar. The 585, I did take nectar.
Yeah.
Now, when I took this nectar, I took a half a dose and then a half a dose of just carnitine. So nectar is carnitine and choline mixed together. I want to say, if I'm remembering correctly, it's 300 milligrams of carnitine and 200 milligrams of choline for a milliliter. So I took half of that, and then I took a half of the carnitine, which was 400 per milliliter, so it was another 200.
Gotcha.
So I ended up with 350 and only 100.
50 choline.
It should be 100. I think it's 3 and 2.
Okay, I got you.
If I'm remembering right,
Okay.
3 and 2. So it'd be 350 carnitine and 100 choline. And you can just take a full milliliter of nectar and be perfectly fine with that. I just like to make it last a little longer, and I've got carnitine that's been sitting there for a long time anyway, so I just want to make use of it.
Why not use it? Yep.
Yeah. And you get choline naturally from eggs and other sources of
So
food.
we've touched on this before, but while we're talking about nectar, why don't you go ahead and talk about, you touched on it some, it's 300 and 200 per milliliter, but go ahead and touch on like proper dosages, when to take it, stuff like that.
So the best thing to do if you're going to take it, in my opinion, is, and it really depends on how much you want to pin. You can pin daily if you want. It does have aspects of recovery in your central nervous system,
Cognitive effects.
Mm-hmm. that will make you better recovered for the next lift. I personally just like to take it before big lifts. I took it before my meet, had the best meet of my life, 9 for 9. Everything felt easy. Even with a I don't want to say horrible prep in the sense that Joe prepped me badly, but that mentally for me, I was in a terrible place the whole time. But I had the best meet of my life, much in regards to just like Joe and planning, and he knew what he was doing, and I didn't know what he was doing. He was on another level, and I just wasn't there. I wasn't with him on that level. So I was like, man, this sucks. Everything feels like shit. I'm going to do terrible at this meet. I just want to drop out. And then I went and I outperformed myself by like 40 pounds or something like that. But anyway, I just went off on a tangent. I was talking about nectar.
Yeah.
What was I saying about nectar?
We were talking about what's the appropriate dosage and when.
So, like I said, I like to take it before big lifts or big sets or something like that. So if you have a day plan where you're like, this is my AMRAP, or this, I'm hitting this to failure, or I've got big singles or something like that, that's when I like to take it. You can take it on every training day. You can take it every day. It's really just a preference to you.
It can help weight loss. So if you're looking to cut weight, every day may be the protocol.
Yeah, if you want that extra help with the weight loss, it's perfectly fine. It's not horribly expensive. It's about the cost of a pre-workout. So
it's a 10 ml bottle. So
no, it's a 20 ml
bottle.
Yeah. So 20 injections per bottle.
Yeah. So you're getting about just short of 3 weeks a bottle.
Yeah.
If you take it every day.
If you take it every day. And it's if you take the full milliliter. You can take a half to a full milliliter and see about similar results. Anything above a milliliter,
kind of useless.
It's kind of useless. You don't need that much. And then again, if you're eating eggs and stuff like that, you're getting that extra choline. If you have carnitine from other sources as well, you may not necessarily need it, but the bioavailability of an injectable is just better than anything orally ingested. So you do have to kind of consider all of these things in what you want your dosage to be. I found for me, like I said, half a milliliter of that, half a milliliter of carnitine works perfectly for me. But when I run out of that carnitine, I'm probably just going to do a full milliliter of nectar because I don't want to have to.
Well, Joe's prescription was a full milliliter pre-workout, correct?
Yes. Yeah. That was his recommendation for me. But he also says if you want to take it every day, no problems taking it every day. So, and there are no side effects to it. It's because it's not non-androgenic.
We're talking about vitamins.
Yeah.
Here, or specifically, we're talking about amino acids.
Yeah. You shouldn't be able to overdose on it. I think from what I understand, the worst thing that will happen to you is you will have really bad diarrhea. And that's something that I actually had a conversation that I may have mentioned on the podcast before. When you take it, I forget how he explained it. It does something that can cause bowel movements. Yeah. Do you remember exactly
I don't remember
what it
his
said?
explanation of that or
I'm
yours.
I'm gonna pull it up real quick if you've got something else you want to add to.
No, I mean, other than the fact that we have enough pros using nectar now that we know that it kind of works and that it is an over the counter option. So I'll say this, that's rare. It's not illegal to use. It's not illegal to possess. There's no legal ramification for doing this. As far as I know, nectar and choline is not going to show up on a drug test, or carnitine and choline is not going to show up on a drug test. So you could still be you're very much still a natural athlete if you use this. So this is not the same vein of performance enhancers me and you normally talk about.
Right.
It is, in fact, a performance enhancer, but it is not something that you couldn't theoretically get from dietary sources. That being said, just like Nathan said, the bioavailability for it is much better intramuscular than it is orally. And that's the reason why there's such a grand difference. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, as a supplement store owner, somebody that has, I don't anymore, but somebody has sold L-carnitine before, there's very, very little benefit from, in my opinion, from liquid carnitine, from ingestible carnitine. Yeah. So there are a handful of people that swear by it, but I mean, shit, it's in a whole lot of fat burners and stuff like that. And anybody that's taking stuff like that know that it's not really performance enhancing. Right. You know what I mean? So it's anxiety enhancing, but not because of the carnitine, because of the caffeine and the other stimulants in it. But yeah, I would just say, the benefit of this is not illegal. It's not being tested for. It's not, I mean, is it a little expensive? Yeah, most of us are spending too much money on pre-workout anyway. As a lifter, you should probably consider maybe not taking so much pre-workout. We've talked about that before. And it's it's a very healthy alternative to a pre-workout. Yeah, absolutely. Very much so.
And that's something that he said is that he would prescribe it over caffeinated pre-workouts. If you are not taking a caffeinated pre-workout and it's not like something which he kind of he's very much everything has a time and place. If you need it, you should take it, but you shouldn't take it all the time. It shouldn't be something that you develop a dependency.
We've talked about inputs and outputs before. Caffeine doesn't benefit you the way that it should if you're a caffeine addict and have caffeine all the time. Like the same way, we talked about how I control, Austin's, like when he listens to loud music, when he takes pre-workout, when he can have an energy drink. I have it arranged in low, medium, and high days, and he can take pre-workout and ammonia. He can have on high days. On medium days, he can just have loud music and an energy drink. On low days, he has to listen to a podcast with no stimulants. So, I mean, there's ways to arrange that. But the good thing about the nectar is you can really take it anytime, and you're not really affecting those inputs like we're talking about. So, just something to consider. And like I said, I would say that, if you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking for those benefits, the recovery benefits, maybe a daily pen is the way to go. I don't like to pen daily. Nathan doesn't like to pen daily. But, it does have anti-inflammatory effects. It does have fat burning effects. It does have some effect on your insulin, which I know little about, but it does do it. To what degree, I'm unsure. Nathan can speak on that, but a lot of benefit to taking it. So
no, it's definitely a great thing to add into your supplements if you are not taking it currently. That being said, everyone's going to have a different experience with it, I feel like, because when I took it the first several times, I didn't notice a difference. I was just kind of I don't feel like it's doing anything. And it may have been my mindset. It may have been a bunch of other things, a bunch of different stuff that I was taking that it just wasn't causing enough of effect because everything else was overpowering it, right?
Yeah, I mean, that could be it. And, not to mention, these things like, let's just say you didn't have a deficit of these vitamins before and it took you a little while to catch up. Right. You know what I mean? Like for it to be, for you to not have enough in your system for it to be performance enhancing, if that makes sense. So, I mean, that's a possibility too.
But eventually, I
don't know the half-life of it though, so that's purely speculation.
Yeah. So, I don't know the half-life of it either personally. But after taking it several times and finally finding what worked for me, which was that half and half dose that I was talking about, I wouldn't not take it on. Like every meat from this point forward, I will take it. Joe even mentioned one time you could take it technically pre-squat, pre-bench, and pre-deadlift at a meet.
Yeah.
Like if you were willing to pin that many times, like you would get benefits from it every single time. Yeah. So you could theoretically do that. I don't know necessarily that I would want to pin and go to the bathroom and in the middle of a meet and pin.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I would trust myself enough.
Yeah, I know that there's been some, I don't know what his deal with this was, but I think that there's been some others. Wasn't there people that come after him, the USAPL, for saying, that people should take these things even though they're not tested for, and that makes them not a natty athlete? Didn't he have some back and forth about that with somebody?
I have no idea.
And I don't know that he did or he didn't, but like, again, these are injectable vitamins. They are not androgenic. They're not androgenic. Yeah, exactly. They are performance enhancing, but a lot of vitamins are. So caffeine is technically a performance enhancer.
If you are deficient in anything, it will enhance your performance if you take it. Like that's the way I would look at it. B12.
We talked about this before. Water, if you're properly hydrated, is the ultimate performance enhancer. Yep. There is up to a 15% drop in strength if you are dehydrated. So you think about somebody like Nathan, that's the difference in pulling 600 or 700 pounds.
Yep.
That is huge in a meet.
It's large.
It's a large fucking gap. So, I mean, if you want to just like, really chop things up and talk about what's performance enhancing and what's not, fucking electrolytes and water may be the biggest performance enhancer on the planet. Food, yeah.
You need the energy.
We talk all the time about sleep, everything like that. You heard us say 1,000 times that like even anabolics don't do for you what food, water, and sleep will do.
Yep.
So consider that. So like before you bust our balls about saying you're still a natty athlete if you take nectar, consider the fact that hydration itself is a performance enhancing.
Well, think about this, and this is one of the reasons why Joe even started recommending this. It's been in sports like the NBA, the NFL for a long time.
Yeah, and those are people that are rigorously tested for a PED use. Now, those things get beat, but when you have multi-million-dollar contracts on the line, you're going to find a way to beat a test to extend your career. It just is what it is. But these are people that get tested more than any powerlifter gets tested. So just something to consider. You know what I mean? Like, if these people are taking it actively and they're not popping hot on the test, like, you're not either. It's not cheating. It's a vitamin.
Yeah.
Me and you both take prescription B12. Again, that could be looked at as performance enhancing to some degree if you're B vitamin deficient. So, I mean, there's a lot to consider, but you're still natty if you take nectar, if that's what you're worried about.
If you are worried about it, you will not fail a drug test for taking
I'm 100%. Now, you will fail a drug test for this, but I believe that you're still natty if you're on enough testosterone to make you function as a normal male.
Yeah.
That's not performance enhancing. That's you functioning as a normal male. So
now
that's a hot take. Now, you will pop for that, but again, like, not condoning you go compete drug tested if you're on TRT, but like, again, like if it's medically what you need to be normal, I don't think that Lane Norton talks about all the time, the dose makes the poison, right? So like, if it's enough for you to be normal,
you're just normal.
You know what I mean?
You're not pushing any boundaries or anything.
You're not pushing boundaries or nothing like that. So, I mean, consider that, So my experience, and you've had experience too, this is brand new to me, but I started BPC 157 and TB 500 body compound what is it? Body something compound.
Oh man, I cannot remember.
I don't remember what it stands for. And then TB500 is thymazine 4. Is a scientific name for it. These are peptides. These are basically select portions of amino acids that do specific things to your body, and they can be used for healing. They can be used for performance enhancement. This is a different conversation in that on a WADA or USADA drug test, I found out that BPC 157 and TB500 is tested for.
Okay. I
didn't know that. You will, depending on the standard of the drug test, you could potentially pop pot for these peptides.
Body protection compound.
Body protection compound. I started it this week, had some aches and pains. I had a minor pec strain, an issue in my back, the ongoing issue with my hips. I have taken 3 doses this week. And it's, typically only taking about 15 days. But I've taken 3 doses this week and feel like a brand new person. Mm-hmm. I don't have anything scientific to say other than my testimony, and that's that I feel like a brand new person. And I even dosed it wrong. I like completely, I had already put my fucking backwater in my vials before I knew what the dosages was, and just took it as I could take it. And it was very, very diluted, and I still feel like $1 million. So
yeah. When I took it, it was after a pec strain, and it was like, I got it a week later-ish, I think. And that was after, I think it was the first time I tried to press 405, and I felt a pop in both of my pecs, and I had to get it pulled off me. I felt it on the way down. And I was like, damn, this sucks. And I started looking into all this stuff, like how can I heal it faster? Because I want to get back to training. Looked into it, found BPC 157, TB500. It's like, okay, well, I'll order some if it doesn't stop hurting in like a day or two. And it still did. It was hurting, so I was like, all right, well, I can't press, so I'm gonna have to order this stuff. So I didn't have to, but I wanted to. I ordered this stuff. It came in, and you even commented on it. It was within a week that I was pressing basically normally again with no pain.
Pretty much the capacity, over 3 plates again.
Yeah.
And that's pretty incredible because, I mean, did you have visible bruising? I feel like
I did not have visible bruising.
There was a good chance, though, it was like a grade 1 strain. It was bad enough that it was incredibly uncomfortable for me.
Yeah. So I was still able to deadlift at that point. There was no pain in deadlifting, but I could not press anything, not even the bar, without feeling pain. So, I mean, it wasn't like a 10 out of 10 pain. It was like a 3 out of 10 pain pressing the bar, throw a plate on there. It gradually goes up more and more. I put on there. I think I would stop at like 225 and just not press anymore. I'd go and do something else and just find workarounds to work my chest, which there's not a lot when you've got strains at the tops where they connect to your shoulders. Like there's just not a lot of chest that you can do with those sort of strains. Partial range of motion, close grip was the only thing I think that I could do. And that just wasn't accomplishing much. You're not getting a good stretch. You're just not accomplishing much by doing that. But after taking it, like a week later, I was feeling great. So like there is something to peptides, and I was taking, and I can't speak on it scientifically. I do know a little bit about GHRP6, GHRP2. I think there's GHRP4. I think it's 2, 4, and 6. 2 is like, I know 6 is the one that is mainly focused on releasing growth hormone. It sends the signals to your body to produce growth hormone. It's not actually injecting growth hormone. I don't know about the WADA testing. Probably would catch you on that, but I'm not sure.
I mean, you can get called for MK677, so
then probably so. And then I think GHRP4 is the one that will mainly focus on the fat burning aspects of it. I took GHRP6 just recently, and I'll be honest with you, which it's really interesting. I took it before bed because it's supposed to take it when you sleep, because that's when it does most of its work. I felt like MK677 has done a better job of my sleep and recovery than GHRP6 did.
That's fair.
And it could be the dosing. I could be dosing it too light. Maybe It could be the bioavailability of the oil, the MK677 oil. I'm not sure. I haven't tried the capsules yet, but that's one we'll go to next. The oil tastes like shit. It literally tastes like rubbing alcohol with sugar in it. It's terrible.
It sounds terrible.
It's awful.
It sounds terrible.
And it burns like, and the secret, quote unquote, the secret is to shoot it as far back to your throat as you can. And it just burns your throat. Like, so you don't have to taste it.
Right.
The most bioavailable way to do it is to put it under your tongue for like as long as you can stand it. And I was like, I'm not even going to try that because I've tasted it and it tastes like shit. Not about it.
So you helped me out with this because I didn't know, but what are we were talking about body protection compound 157 and TB500. What are the doses for people on that? I can go ahead and talk about TB500. You can take up to a milliliter a day of that.
So you do have to be specific on the milligrams, right? So when you say a milliliter, you're talking about 5 milligrams to the milliliter.
Correct. Yep.
So you do have to remember when you get these peptides, most of the time they're going to come in as a powder, and you do have to reconstitute
So it's
them.
1 milligram per day, not 1 milliliter.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can reconstitute them in as much or as little backwater as you want to get the dosage with the most or the least water as you want. That
Right.
I don't know that there is a specific standard. I know that I'm gonna try and pull it up if I can. I don't remember what the exact number behind it was, but there is a specific number per pound or per kilo of body weight for the BPC. So give me just a second and I will find it. Okay, here we go. So, so it is 2.5 micrograms per kilo of body weight. So me, 110 kilos typically. That's pretty close right now. I would be taking that's like 275, I think.
Yeah, because I take 320. I'm quite a bit heavier than you. So.
I think it's somewhere around there. Anyway, kilos, pounds would be much easier, but kilos, 2.5 milligrams, maybe 2 drinks was too many. My brain just got real fuzzy. 2.5 micrograms per kilo of body weight is what you want to aim for on the BPC, and that is daily.
Mine came out to at 275 pounds. Mine came out to 320
micrograms.
Yep.
So, and you just have to remember that when you're mixing it with your backwater, you do have to kind of know how much you have per milliliter to make that
work out
that equation. Yeah, because
so mine ended up being, if you're going to pin these in sub Q, so they're going to go in your belly fat with a diabetic pin. On a diabetic pin, like for me, I have 320. It worked out to like 65.
65
so
units.
6.5 units, or on the syringe you pull to 6.5. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's the way it works. So, which is technically 65 units.
Yeah. So if anyone is remotely interested in reconstitution, I would just go to Reddit. There's plenty of people who talk about reconstitution per microgram, stuff like that will make it a little bit easier. I would explain it if I wasn't slightly inebriated and could function a little better. That's that Mark, full circle. That's that Mark Bell stuff. If I was on that mind bullet, I'd be like, yeah, to tell you all about reconstituting.
But we're not. We're on.
But we're not. We're on alcohol. So, but yeah. But just make sure when you reconstitute it, you're dosing it correctly based on what you reconstitute it as. Typically, I like to do everything at like whenever I get a bottle. If it's 5 milligrams, I like to do it just as a milliliter. And then I base my doses based on.
It's the simplest math.
Yeah. So if you get 5 milligrams, 1 milliliter per 5 milligram, or 5 milligrams per milliliter, you can pull, a a half is 2.5. One would be 500 micrograms.
Yeah.
What does it come out to per unit? It'd be 5,050.
Yeah.
I think it's 50 per unit.
Yeah.
So that's the easiest math to do, in my opinion. Going to TB, I know we've talked about BPC a lot. TB is upwards of 5 to 20 milligrams per week.
Correct.
Once to 3 times a week, depending on what you want to do. It's expensive if you want to do it heavy.
Yeah.
I would personally say if you do a milligram a week, you're probably going to be fine, depending on the severity.
I'm doing a milligram a day, but
yeah, if it's severe, like it's a horrible, like it's like a tear, it's a complete tear, I would take a lot more. Yeah. I would invest in a lot of it, and I would take it regularly, and I'd take probably up to 20 milligrams a week. And that's just because it's a full tear. You're gonna, like, if it's just a strain or if it's something nagging or something like that, you can get away with taking less, and you will heal better. So just kind of like gauge it on the severity. If you're still in the gym,
a rule of thumb on that, and this isn't exact science, but a grade 1 is going to be pain and discomfort, some heat, fever feeling in the muscle. A grade 2 is going to be all those things with visible bruising. And a grade 3 is going to be complete separation, surgeries required.
Mm-hmm.
So rule of thumb on those.
And
in terms of strains, you know what I mean?
Just to give a little science on this stuff, they used BPC and TB to completely reattach muscle in rats. So like muscle was completely severed. They used the TB and the BPC, and the muscle reattached. And it was in a very short amount of time. I can't remember exactly, but it was like in my study. That's pretty incredible.
To note that we talk about this all the time. We are not doctors,
right?
and this stuff is not FDA approved, so it says not for human consumption on the bottle.
Yep.
So you do have to take this stuff with a grain of salt. So this is very much underground bro sciencey shit we're talking about. It's a shame that it's not legal for human consumption and that it's not FDA approved. Again, it's completely legal to possess and to purchase.
Mm-hmm. You will see on every bottle it says for research purposes only, or not for human consumption. It will say something like that to basically tell you technically you're not supposed to take this. But
there's a lot of shit that works that's not FDA approved, though. Trend being one of them.
This is true. This is true.
Don't kill yourself.
Don't kill yourself with Tren. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, when it comes to Tren, if you're gonna take Tren, just don't be a dummy. Don't take it on off seasons. If you're gonna take it, use it literally just for meat prep and the very end of meat prep. If you're gonna take it just to take it because you want to take it, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, I mean, you're
gonna have a good time for a little bit.
It's gonna fuck up your blood work real good, though.
Yeah.
True.
Long term, you will not have.
Long term is not the best thing in the world for you. For sure.
Limiting your intake of Tren would be ideal.
Limiting your intake of any antibiotics is pretty ideal, to be honest with you. We've talked about it before. Less is more, but all these peptides and stuff. Again, they're not. Again, BPC 157 and TB 500 is tested for. So if you compete drug tested, you should not take them. Or if you do, make sure it's in your off season. I don't know the half-life of them, though, so that's on your own to research them. If you get popped for it, that's your fucking problem.
Yep.
That's all I gotta say. But I mean,
if you're taking it to heal an injury, though, you're probably not going to compete.
100%. Here's the deal: like, the longest people stay on these things that I've seen about TB 500 and BPC has been like 3 weeks.
I've seen a few months,
and then most like recovery cycles, they say it's like 15 days, and that's what I've bought and to accomplish. The side effects are pretty light. I will say that they do give you a headache. That is a pretty common side effect for them, but I feel so much better. Not a migraine, just a headache. Yeah.
Like you haven't had enough water.
We don't know exactly. We don't know the long-term side effects of them. So We don't know, but I will say that that's got to be mitigated by the fact that you're taking them such a little amount of time. You're not. These are not drugs that you're going to use, even if you use them for a couple months at a time. They're not something you're going to use 12 months out of the year,
right,
or something like that. So that should mitigate most side effects, I'd imagine. So, but again, we don't know. It might make you grow a third arm out of your ass. We don't really know long term. What it does. So, that should be taken with a grain of salt. But like I said, you're taking so little of it for such a little amount of time. The risk is probably worth the reward, in my opinion.
I don't feel like I ever had any. I don't even remember having headaches, to be honest with you.
Well,
I may have
you were high stress individuals and probably have a headache most of the time anyway. Let's be honest.
True.
So what's the BPC and what's the actual just life
normal day?
Yeah.
Just trudging through life. Yeah.
But when I get a headache, I'm very prone to migraines, and that's how I can tell the difference. Yeah, and why it's probably not the norm.
Right. Yeah.
Just a light headache is pretty easy to deal with.
Yeah. Do you feel okay if you take some ibuprofen or anything like that?
I mean, most of us, I'll be honest with you. I mean, if you're on any type of anabolic, you should be taking aspirin daily anyway to help thin your blood. So, I mean, I would say most of the time, as long as I'm doing my aspirin regimen, most of the time that takes care of it. And I do a baby aspirin, but that's still enough to, obviously that's a vasodilator. So, that's going to eliminate a lot of effects of like headache and stuff like that because blood flows better. So we're talking about like 80 to 100 milligrams of aspirin a day.
Right.
If you needed more, sure, go ahead and pop your 350. But, I'm on the baby aspirin, but for blood flow purposes, not for headache purposes. So,
yeah. For me, if I take aspirin, it's just for my knees. Because my knees hurt all the time.
I will say this, it does, aspirin does bring down hemoglobin and red blood cell count, so it is beneficial for your blood work to, to be on an aspirin regimen.
I need to donate blood, honestly.
Yeah, I'm overdue for donation, so.
I haven't done it since I got blood work done, and they told me I needed to do it. Still haven't done it, and I'm supposed to get blood work done on Monday, so it's probably just not going to happen.
Yeah, you might see me there on Monday because I got to go too. So
I'm going to try and get there early, but we'll see. Might either as soon as they open at 8 or like 9-ish or something.
Interesting thing I've been doing is I have been fasting half the day on non-workout days, and I actually feel pretty energetic, and it's aiding in weight loss.
That's good.
So since I'm having to do that anyway, likely I'm going to try to go on Thursday since it's a non-lifting day.
That's fair.
Obviously, I want to eat.
Right.
On my lifting days. So, but for the most part, I've been low carb and haven't, other than maybe longevity in the gym, I really haven't felt too much of an effect now that I've been in it some. So it is what it is. This is the most amount of carbs I've had, and it's, largely from alcohol. So they're pretty quick carbs. So,
in and out.
But like I said, even, I don't think it's affected my gym performance, but it's also submaximal,
Right. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes.
I mean, listen, I pressed 365 today on 0 carbs. The only thing I had was, eggs and meat in my system this morning. So, I mean,
that's the Mark Bell guys preach it.
Yeah. And there's, when it comes to sports dieting, I really don't believe in low carb. I went low carb because it's simply the added stress of logging is a lot for me mentally. Low carb pretty much guarantees me I'm going to be in some type of calorie deficit, and it just works for me. It's always worked. So I lost 20 pounds pretty rapidly. I'm on the tail end of that now. I got about 16 more to lose to make my goal weight. That being said, that'll be a little tougher because I'm not going to have the benefit of water weight reduction that you get with a low carb diet. So the first 20 is going to go a lot faster than the next 16 will. That being said, I just feel good on it. It does reduce some inflammation for me. I just don't feel as bad. I feel light, feel athletic when I'm on the low carb diet. This is all just preference, but personal trainer answer is we want a balanced diet in a cut or in a bulk. I think that's still my preference for most people. But if you're like me and you're just stressed out by the idea of having one more thing to do, like tracking and logging, low carb's not the worst.
Probably one of the reasons why it works so well for Albert is because he just literally was just like, I just don't eat carbs anymore. I don't have to think about it. I just know that I have to eat protein and fat, and that's it.
We've talked about this before, but largely, like,
The diet that works is the one that you can stick to.
Yeah, exactly. But Lane talks about this all the time. Poison. I mean, the dose makes the poison. We talked about that, but also sugar is not inherently bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that. But I do kind of think that obese people in America have a sugar problem.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of the times it is because it's because it is included. Like a really sugary diet, if you're eating like shit all the time, probably doesn't just have a lot of sugar in it. Like if you think about like a honey bun or a cinnamon roll or something like that, you're also getting a ton of carbs from the sugar, but you're also getting a ton of fat.
Yeah.
So just by inherently eating low carb, you're actually kind of cutting a lot of fat out too, because you're not getting fat that's on the cinnamon roll.
Right.
You're not getting the butter. You're not getting, so like the magic of low carb isn't that you're low carb, is that you're actually eating a lot less fat than you probably would too. Like that's the truth. If you're eating it correctly, if you're eating meats, fruits, and vegetables like you're supposed to, low glycemic fruits, berries, stuff like that. Yeah. But if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're actually eating even with a full fat sausage, bacon, steak or something like that, you're probably actually eating a lot less dietary fat than the average American at that point.
Oh yeah. Well,
probably not a lot less fat than the average athlete, because when we're on a performance diet, it's typically under 100 grams. For me, it's closer to 100. Yours is probably about 80, I would guess. It's not quite that little fat, but compared to, the average Joe that's going to eat Chick-fil-A 3 times a day, and get 200 grams of fat, you're probably eating a lot less fucking fat. Even
you just wanted to shit talk Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I've been on.
I was going to say McDonald's.
I went there the other fucking day, and it was just so simple, but it chapped my ass so bad. I'm on a low carb diet, so I'm eating a lot of their salads.
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A is a very good place to eat healthy at and still eat.
Wendy's is too.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, it is. But when you're on a low carb diet, Chick-fil-A is actually pretty fucking convenient. Yeah. I mean, it really is.
Super easy.
And I had a specific order and they just fucked up one thing. And it's always one thing they fuck up. Like I'm on a low carb diet. I obviously can't have, this wasn't what it was this time, but I obviously can't have regular Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. I need a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Or an unsweet tea.
Or Coke Zero.
Or, whatever it may be. Some type of 0 calorie drink.
Yeah.
It might just be like I ordered this big healthy meal and I ordered a Diet Coke with it and they gave me a Coke. Mm-hmm. Or, I ordered something with grilled chicken and they gave me fried chicken.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a little more egregious.
Man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to drink a large Diet Coke. Mm-hmm. That's 32 ounces. Mm-hmm. If you drink that in a regular Coke, that's fucking 500 calories just fucking pissed away. I'm not going to fucking drink it because I don't like what it does to my teeth. I'm worried about that anyway. I like diet drinks before I ever started dieting. Mm-hmm. So, because I'm kind of crazy about my teeth, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's fucking annoying. It's like one small thing to be fucked up all the time. I'm
telling you, man, you just got to repent of your sins.
Repent of my sins. Stop listening to Slayer when I'm ordering, apparently.
I mean, if you have it blaring and they can hear it, they're like, this guy, we're going to make a believer out of him. You're going to mess up his order every time he comes through.
Fuck up his blood work. So he has a, stroke or a heart attack and repents of all of his sins. And then maybe,
See, that's the thing, man. I've never had a bad order. Not once going to Chick-fil-A has they ever messed anything up. I've always had super convenient. I have
terrible experiences at Chick-fil-A. They fuck something up or that's not ready and I get pulled off to the side and they just forget about me for a half an hour. And like Chick-fil-A's, I can literally go and sit down at a restaurant for the price of Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
So it's really fucking annoying to get pulled off to the side and forgotten about.
See, I've never had that happen.
I have that fucking happen to me all the time at Chick-fil-A. They must know I'm a heretic.
They just pull me right through and they're like, I will be in this huge ass line. I'm like, man, this is going to take forever. And they get me out in 4 or 5 minutes, and I'm like, bro, this is awesome.
Bro, I don't know why. I mean, you're fucking Jehovah's Witness. You're everything they hate. They should know that about you. They're strict Baptist and Church of God goers. If they knew that about you, they would fucking spit in your food. I haven't been there in a while. I mean, I guess maybe mine because I'm covered in tattoos and listen to absolute fucking heresy in my car when I'm in the drive. Maybe it's more obvious with me. I don't know, but
I'm just a regular old guy to them. That's the thing. I'm a regular old guy.
I hear this guy has gay and black friends. We're gonna fuck his order up. We don't like we're at Chick-fil-A. We don't like either of those things.
Ooh, that's some shade. Oh.
I mean, they do politically support things that, are, anti-gay and anti-black. So just saying,
At least they give their workers Sundays off.
Sundays.
I
wonder if they get off work for revival through the week.
Oh, yeah. No. No, just Sunday.
Just Sunday.
You can go and have your church on Sunday, and that's it. Any other time you want to have church? No.
But you got to be off on the Lord's Day.
Wonder if they get Easter off. Are they closed?
It's always on Sunday, yeah. Easter
is always on Sunday, isn't it? I don't celebrate Easter.
I'm surprised they don't close for Good Friday, though, for real. You know what a slap in the face has got to be to Jesus for everybody to call it Good Friday? That's the day the man was died. Fucking nailed to fucking wood. And they're like, Good Friday.
Like, this is the best Friday.
Bro.
And he's just up there
serious? I'm so mad about this right now. Good Friday, my ass. That sucked.
Like, I didn't think it was a very good Friday. Thank you very much.
It is what it is. Nope. Well, if we didn't run you off before, we run you off now.
All the Christians are out there like, I've never listened to this podcast.
I'm just saying, there's the opinion of that wasn't that great of a Friday is pretty fucking theologically sound.
I think most people would probably say, yeah, that was a pretty bleak Friday.
They should name it Bleak Friday.
I guess
all the good shit happened on Sunday. None of the good shit happened on Friday. None of it.
I guess from their standpoint, right? They're thinking he died for their sins, so it was a good thing because he died for all of us, kind of thing. That's got to be the mentality, right? Because nothing else makes sense to me.
It wasn't because,
thank God he died.
It wasn't because he had a good time. No. That's not why it's called Good Friday. Are we going to dad jokes? We probably should.
We are going to dad jokes. Oof. We ran a lot of people off. They didn't stick for dad jokes. Sorry, guys.
By the way, I'm not an atheist, for the record. I might be something else, but I'm not an atheist.
Agnostic?
That's probably a fair assessment of what I am. Yeah.
Something out there, but
I mean, I still actively go to church, so I don't know what that says to anybody.
I don't know.
So, I don't know.
So, if anyone out there is thinking about getting married, consider the following before you do. On one hand, you get to wear a pretty cool ring. On the other hand, you don't.
Dad, can you tell me what a solar eclipse is?
A solar eclipse?
No, son. What kind of car does a Jedi drive? A Toyota.
A Toyota. You have to make sure to say it right. A Toyota. Is it cool that I start drinking as soon as the kids are at school, or does that make me a bad teacher?
Shout out to my grandma. That's the only way she can hear it.
I've started a boat building business in my attic.
Oh, yeah.
Sales are through the roof.
Oh. Maybe I should clean mirrors for a living. It's something I can really see myself doing.
Clean mirrors. I thought you said clean ears, bro. Mirrors. I'm a little
intoxicated.
I'll have to sit down. I may have mixed that last one a little too harsh. At my annual exam, the doctor explained that being middle-aged now means I will experience slow muscle loss over time. I said, that sucks. The doctor said, well, you do get an award for it. And I said, an award? And he said, yes, atrophy.
What does a grape say when it's being squashed?
Nothing. It lets out a little wine. So I just burnt my Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah.
I should have used an aloha temperature.
Fuck you.
Now there's just a bunch of desserts and now I'm hungry.
All the desserts.
What's the dude who is always well prepared for everything?
What?
The name of the dude, excuse me.
What?
Just in case.
Fuck that, dude. All right, that's dad jokes. It's time to go.
It's very time to go for me.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I'm going to go sit on the couch for a minute.
He needs to recover. I haven't seen this boy like this in a minute.
It's been a long... Is it
the combination of the caffeine and alcohol, you think?
I think it might be the alcohol and the low carbs.
Yeah. I'm still a professional, so it is what it is. But that may be it.
I am not a professional. I don't drink very often at all. Especially since I've been on this cut. Like the only times I've drank
been here.
Were on the podcast, and we've only usually had one drink. And then couple times when I got home at night after work, if it's been like a stressful day, I'll make like a whiskey and Coke or something. Yep. But that's also very small.
Well, guys, we got a little blitzed. I'm sorry.
Just me. Just me.
Rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us at Coleman_Barbell, at Nathan Skedios, at Sip It and Rip It on Instagram. Leave comments, likes, share it. We need to get back in the routine of having guests. We've out of that routine, but
I still want to get Tammy Mims on the show.
Tammy would be great to have on the show. We should
one of these days.
Well, one day we should. And it'd be needs to be an early Saturday afternoon, and we need to go out and have dinner and and visit with her because that lady is awesome. She deserves it. Awesome. So, but yeah, that's the show. So bye, y'all.